Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray Allen from Hello Media.
And I'm Jenni Walke from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Life Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business.
Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and the behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our own companies and helped others do the same.
We're glad you're here. It's Friday morning, so that means it's Bite-Sized Business Live Podcast. So hi there, I am Jenni Walke from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and my colleague Kylie Mowbray Allen is currently on a plane on the way to San Diego for Social Media Marketing World. So it's just me today, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Live Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business. Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our companies and helped others do the same. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm really excited about the session. We were hoping to have a special guest to join me today, but unfortunately we haven't. So they're actually booked in for the next couple of weeks, so we will have some new special guests coming in. But today we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to turn your side hustle into a full-grown business. So is it your side hustle a stepping stone, or do you want to keep it in as a side hustle forever, really? And so the key with side hustles, and this is the challenge, right, is why am I doing it? And so part of the conversation we often have is, what's the point of starting a company? Why do we do it? How does our company start? And for those who've been tuning into our podcast for a while, you'll know my story. I jumped out of a plane 5.5 years ago with no idea of what I was going to do. And I decided I am going to start a company because I realized I wasn't finding my path. I wasn't finding my joy working in other people's companies. I realized that the jobs that I loved, I got really excited. I was invested, but the company didn't seem to be as invested as I was in the outcomes that I was trying to achieve. Now, that's just a misalignment of values, right? That's what that's about. Whereas somebody like Kylie's been a serial entrepreneur, always running around doing amazing work, running companies, online businesses before it was even cool to have an online business with amazing rainbows and clover, before she moved into Hello Media. And Hello Media was a little bit of an accident. She was doing the work. She loved it. Her background's in journalism and graphic design. It's a natural fit for her. And she found a company 10, 15 years ago that was actually fit who she was. And she was able to create this incredible empire of Hello Media to help businesses actually build their digital profile, get visible, but teach them how to do it as well, not just do it for them. It's about sharing that knowledge. And that's what gives us passion. So me at Elephant in the Room Consulting, I love coaching businesses. I love helping businesses find clarity, find out what they want to do, and create that business that makes them and brings them joy. And I love helping corporates actually develop strategies that help their people feel connected to their organization. So I created a business that allowed me to do that. But that's not the case for so many people. So I kind of want to talk through 3 or 4 different types of side hustles and how they can really be a stepping stone to being a full-blown business, or they can just remain that side hustle that gives you joy on the weekend and gives you joy when you want to get some extra income and create that wealth and be in control of that wealth. So we're doing things a little bit differently today. We're going to share a little bit of a screen because I figured you don't just want to listen to me talk for 30 minutes without any prompts. So let's get started. We're here for bite-sized talks, business talk. So let's go. So side hustle or stepping stone? For me, I really see that this is how many great businesses start by accident. Hello Media, Elephant in the Room, even in Digimesh, but the Be Impact Collective, the other businesses that I have, they've started by accident. There's an idea in our head. We saw a need in the market and we're like, we want to fill that with a business. And it may not have been something we were planning to do full time. It was something that we're just going to do on the side while I continue to drive my career, or I continue to, look after my family as a stay-at-home mom or dad. And you're like, I don't really want to jump into business straight away. But sometimes you can make that choice to say, my business is going so well, this side hustle is becoming so profitable and it's taking up so much of my time. maybe it's time to jump off the side hustle and it become the stepping stone to a great business. And we heard that last week when we're talking about, trading in Bitcoin and trading in non-tangible fungibles or something, or non-fungibles. I'm terrible with that. NFTs anyway. But last week we heard how the business started as a side hustle. It was just something they were doing during COVID, and it's become what they do as a business. They're making sufficient income and revenue that they can create it as their full-time job. And they spend 3 to 5 hours a day working in a business. It's essentially trading online, but it's a business that they can then control when they work, where they work, and how they want to work. And isn't that what business is supposed to be about? That's what we've talked about here. So this is about creating your future. So I want you to just take a moment. I know it's a podcast. You're thinking, why are we going to stop talking for like 30 seconds? But I want you to think about how you could create your own future. If you could have this side hustle, if you could start a stepping stone, if it was painting, if it was ceramics, if it was amazing earrings like I wear every week, if it was dog walking, if it was driving a car for somebody, if it was cleaning a neighbor's yard, what are the things that you can do to create your own future? Because ultimately what a side hustle is about, it's about creating and controlling your income. You do it for 2 reasons from what I've seen from the companies that I've worked with and the businesses that I've worked with. 1, I love doing this thing. Whatever this thing is, I love doing it, and I know people want it. So therefore, I'm going to do it when it makes me feel good on the weekends and the evenings, and I'm going to sell it. And I'm not going to worry whether I get sales every day. I'm not even going to worry if I get sales every month, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it out. I'm going to put it out there online or at markets, and I'm going to start creating some income. When I started Tupperware 25 years ago, and the very first time I started doing Tupperware, it was about creating extra income. And it wasn't only till like 2 or 3 years ago that I realized that my Tupperware business, I just thought was a side hustle. I didn't even think about it being a business. I didn't run it like a business. So it just remained my side hustle. I dropped in, I dropped out when I really wanted to. I didn't take it really seriously and think, how could I turn this into my full-time gig? And really successful people, whether it's Tupperware or some other kind of group or product or marketing product like that, those who take it really seriously turn it into a successful multi-million-dollar business. It goes from this side hustle to a stepping stone into successful businesses that they can then control their whole time. So what's one thing that you do on the weekends, during the week, that you could potentially turn into a side hustle that could get you that freedom? They could give you access to extra income or connection with people. Remember, side hustles don't have to just be about income. We only talk about them about income. But your goal in life might be create an impact. So your side hustle might be a not-for-profit. Your side hustle might be a community organization that brings people together. So don't just think of side hustles as financial. Don't just think of side hustles as creating financial freedom. It's about freedom to live and be the person you want to be. And it's to create that future that you want to see going forward. So the first type of side hustle that we see is the artist. And I've got 3 cool examples here, very close to my heart. So Bobby Francis makes these amazing earrings. Bobby Francis is a mum in Brisbane. She started just making earrings on the side. She loved big, creative, amazing earrings. She does these beautiful like flamingos and puppy dogs. And you can see on the picture there, these amazing Japanese butterflies. Her mind in her creation as an artist is incredible, but she just started as someone who loved earrings, doing it on the side, creating this little side hustle. And from that side hustle, she's growing this business. And Bobby Francis now has employees who helps her. She builds her business. She does the most amazing Instagram of showing you how she creates her beautiful creations. But she's essentially an artist who started a business out of something that she loved doing. Durawong Ceramic is my amazing sister who's a ceramic art and an artist. And she loves pottery. She's so wonderful at it and creates the most incredible structures and forms out of ceramics and out of clay. But she does that as her side hustle. She already has 3 other jobs. She's a consultant. She has a full-time job. And when she gets a break, when she wants to kind of reconnect, she makes ceramics and she sells them. So she's turning this as a side hustle for her. That's probably going to remain a side hustle for many, many years until she leaves full-time work. But she drops in and she drops out for exhibitions, for work when it suits her. She's created that freedom. And then you've got Blackbird Designs. Of course, the earrings that I wear most weeks from Nikki Gallagher from Blackbird Designs. She is an artist at heart. She started with earrings, but she's actually an artist. You can see now she's starting to sell her prints and her prints on artwork, on notebooks and mugs and other things. And she's starting to expand her business. But this is a side hustle for Nikki. She has a full-time gig that she's phenomenal at, but she wants to grow this, and she is growing this business. And so she's starting to add product lines. She's starting to see what the market will want and how they want to interact with her, so she can start to create her business. And at some point, she might decide to step out of her full-time gig, or she may not. She may not, because the way she structured her business for her and my sister Emma and Bobby Francis, the way they've structured their business is they have freedom to create the environment they want to play in. They're using this as a side hustle that could become a stepping stone into a business. But for many of these people, they didn't start thinking, I want to become a serial entrepreneur. I want to have this incredible business. They just thought, I really want to make something that I love, and I want to actually do this hobby, and this hobby might actually fill a need in the market. You've heard Kylie and I talk most weeks around making sure when you're running a business that what you're selling has to meet a need in the market and a desire in the market. It needs to have an audience. It needs to have somebody who wants to buy that. These guys didn't start making ceramics. My sister didn't start making ceramics because she thought someone would buy it. She wanted to make them because she loved the art of pottery. But through that idea of having this amazing art, she can create a business. The next one is the hustler. And I kind of group these people. So that artist is, somebody, it doesn't just have to be physical art. It could be poetry reading. It could be singing, any of those things, right? But the hustler, this is like, how do I get more out of my day? How do I actually get that buck? How do I actually maximize my time? And Fiverr and something like Uber and all the different versions of these, Upwork, are a really great example of the hustler. These are like short-term gigs. They're not about long-term relationships. They're generally about get in, get out, get some revenue for what I need, and we do high turnover. So it's about finding the next opportunity. And there are so many versions of that hustler model. So this is about saying, hey, I want to create some side income. I want to have this side hustle, but it's always about trying to find opportunity. Where can I provide my services, sell my product, do the work that I want to do to get paid for? And it's often about the revenue. This is not because people generally you don't get into Uber usually like, I want to spend 9 hours a day in a car. I've never met an Uber driver who said that. So many of them have said, look, I was working, or I couldn't find a job that I like to do, or I need to kind of find a way to fill my time between my meetings. I met an Uber driver in Melbourne driving the most specky car, and he was a financial broker deciding that he would use the 45 minutes between his meetings when he had to drive from one side of the town to the other as an Uber driver, so he could get paid to drive to his next meeting. So it wasn't about having to have an income as a base level. It was about supplementing his income. It was about having that milk money that I can then play around with and do what I want. It's about growing income at every opportunity. So this hustler mentality is around, okay, what do I need to do? And you'll see that in your world. And maybe this is you. Maybe you're the hustler who's like, okay, how do I actually maximize every minute or every day of my work week, whatever that work week looks like? And so this is a different mindset to the artist. We start as a hustler because it's about the revenue. It's about the income in most cases. Having said that, I've also seen some incredible hustlers who are connectors. It's not actually about the revenue. It's about the connections and the impact that they made. So their focus is around bringing people together and connecting people and creating opportunities for other people. That's where they get their benefit from. And there may be a flow-on or a financial flow-on at the back end of that, but that's about building reputation and trust. But most people go into the hustler as about, okay, how do I get that revenue? How do I grow my bank account? The third one is the entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur, I feel like, is probably what more Kylie and I are moving towards, because we love business. We love being in business. We love creating businesses. We love helping businesses grow. and my colleagues. So these are all people that I work with or people that I respect highly. So Black Digital was purchased by Matt Jones recently, and he has a Malu. Malu is an amazing consulting firm that looks at strategic consulting, beautiful work. And he has this opportunity to how I build another business. This gives him a second line of revenue, a second opportunity, and he starts to grow. So it's about building and growing businesses. Cultural IQ, CIQ from the Cultural Intelligence Program from Peak Consulting, Cara and Adele Peak. These guys are the definition of serial entrepreneurs. They have Make It Happen HQ over in Broome. They've got their consulting work that they do with companies, and they've just produced the Cultural IQ online training platform for cultural awareness. This is about providing revenue, ongoing revenue, but still creating impact, but it's about tapping together all their businesses. They also run a not-for-profit and a couple of other events around rodeo and connecting with country over in Western Australia. So their entrepreneur portfolio is a crazy one, but it's about opportunity and long-term sustainable revenue. In Digimesh, my colleague Celeste and myself started in Digimesh recently. This is the definition of what entrepreneurs do. We find an idea, we feel a gap, we start a business and we start selling it. And we've started to do that within Digimesh because we all have so much time. Not really, but we find space to do this, right? We see an opportunity and we take it. The entrepreneur is about finding opportunities and using that as a stepping stone. It's not just about the side hustle, it's the stepping stone. It's about growing and building sustainability long-term, either financially or from impact, whatever that outcome is. And you see serial entrepreneurs who are often buying and selling businesses. They buy the business, they grow the business, they make it successful, and then they step off. Now, some of them have residuals in that business, and that's the best way to do it. Or they might actually say, my goal is just to grow the business. I don't want to run a business. I just want to build and grow one. And so that's where the entrepreneur is a little bit different to a traditional business owner, because it's not necessarily about long-term sustainability. It can be, but often it's around the growth cycle. It's around the excitement of finding something, building it and growing it, rather than actually staying in it and running it on a day-to-day basis. So it comes back to this question, right? What are you trying to create? What are you trying to do in your business or your side hustle? Are you trying to create freedom? Are you trying to create wealth? Are you trying to create something that you can just turn your hobby into a little bit of revenue on the side so you guys can go on holiday a little bit more, or you can buy a new car or go towards a deposit of the house? What is that for? What is the side hustle about? And the reason I think this is a really important conversation is because it gives people the opportunity to just think, to look at their side hustle and say, could I turn this into a full-time business? But more importantly, do I want to? Because running a business, it's not easy. It can be easy, and it can be really simple. You can do, you see Instagrammers do it all the time. Influencers do it all the time. Create an online business, online course, and create revenue. But you still need to know the niche. You still need to know what you want to do, and you still need to have an audience that wants to pay you for that. So is your side hustle something that you're trying to build and grow to be bigger than just you and be about a business and serving the community? Or do you want to just maintain it and have it as a release? So when you leave your 9-to-5 job Monday to Friday and you go home to paint and you realize, wow, I've got too many paintings in my house and maybe someone will buy this, I'm going to start selling them. And then you see people buy them every weekend and you're like, wow, I might do that more consistently. And that side hustle becomes something that you might do more and more. So essentially what we're talking about is this transition of, is your side hustle something just something to maintain and give you some joy and some extra revenue, or is it the stepping stone into creating a business? For me, mine was a stepping stone. I wanted it to be a stepping stone. It wasn't full-time when I started, although I hadn't thought about it being full-time. I just knew it's what I needed to do. And I worked that out later. But this transitioning makes you ask some questions. So the questions that we're asking in this space is, why are you in business? Why do you want to run a company or a business? Why do you want to have this side hustle? Because if you understand that question and you kind of explore that and really lean into that, it makes you perhaps challenged and a bit uncomfortable. Is, do I want to work a little bit harder to grow it more? Do I need to connect with a coach or somebody like Kylie who's going to help me get visible, that allows me to actually build my profile and find that niche in the market, or find that audience that might buy my stuff every day and not just on the weekend? And is it about saying, I never really wanted to be in business like this girl? Or is it actually about saying, I didn't want to start a company, but you know what? It's pretty cool now that I have one. I get to choose the clients I want to work with. I get to choose the hours of work for most of the time that I want to work. I can have freedom and holidays that I set. It's not beholden on other people to do that for us. Of course, we still have to meet our client needs and expectations and serve the community that we work in. But we get to choose the boundaries and the range of that. So that moment of uncomfortability, when you're thinking about, does my side hustle want to become a full-time thing? That moment of uncomfortable, sit in that for a little bit. Stay in that space and ask yourself, oh, am I kind of loving this little feeling of uncomfortability and this pressure and this excitement? Or is it a little bit too much? Am I already starting to feel overwhelmed by all the things I need to do? Maybe it's not the time to shift. Maybe it's not the time for it to be a stepping stone. But always remember, no matter what your business is doing, what you are in your business and how you're running your business, the opportunity to switch between side hustle or a stepping stone into a full business is always there. It's not an either or option. It's not like you only get one chance. You see people do it all the time where they'll move in and out of businesses. They'll move in and out of options to decide what they want to do. And that's okay. So the idea is to actually maximize that option. Which way do I want to go? What do I want to do with my life and my business? How do I want to create a future that's going to work for me and my family and my community? So from side hustle or stepping stone, creating that accidental business that becomes a deliberate choice. This is what we do every day. This is what Kylie and I started in our business. This is how we ended up where we are. But we did it because we took the plunge. We made the choice. And we were a little bit brave. And we decided, yes, we can do hard things. Yes, we can make it work. And if it fails, it's okay. Because you know what? You learn and you try again and you build your business again. So next week, we will have a guest next week. I promise, while Kylie is still away at the social media marketing world, learning fabulous things, but you'll have me back next Friday. I really hope that today's conversation has sparked your ideas, your thoughts about how you're approaching your business and what you'd like to do with your business. So exciting. And thank you for tuning into this episode of the Bite Size Business Live podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us so you don't miss any future episodes and cool hacks that we're going to share with you over the next couple of months. Thank you again and look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everyone.